Well, now I want to turn to Andy Zimmerman, who is the chairman of the NMRA Conformance and Standards Committee. Andy, welcome.
Thank you. And once again, thank you for having me on. And Standards and Conformance Manager for the NMRA National.
Okay. I'll never get over that. Well, listen, last week, Phil started to ask you some questions about direct wireless. And you said, well, maybe next week I'll be able to give you some information about that. So I'm going to see if you can give us some information about direct wireless.
Okay, well, so we had an interesting submission from one of our members, and he talked about wireless model railroading and that it would be the future of model railroading. So he submitted a white paper to the NMRA, and then my team, my DCC team and my electrical team took a look at it, and then we invited him in to come in and talk about wireless model railroading. He and his partner came in and talked about wireless model railroading and the future of it, and how it would affect model railroading in the future. And then we discovered that there were some other individuals that had kind of toyed at it or played at it and said, hey, we had the same idea too. And they've been raising their hand over the last few weeks. And they want to come in and discuss it as well. But suffice it to say, the original gentleman that we were dealing with, he has built and sold several multi-million-dollar corporations. The last one, he sold it to Microsoft. And so this is his next thing that he wants to invest in, and he wants to see come to fruition and bring it to market. So he is developing wireless technology for model railroading, and wants the NMRA's help to develop standards in the process. So, and that's what we're doing right now. But it's gone past the, hey, I have an idea stage, and now it's in the how do we make this happen stage. And so my DCC group, my electrical group, and his group are working together to start to develop the standards for a wireless model railroading system that any or all manufacturers, if they develop it, would have to adhere to. So that's kind of the long and short of it. Was there something more specific?
Well, you've read the white paper, obviously, and you're getting involved with it. What's your opinion? Is it going to be the future of model railroad?
I think it has a serious shot at becoming the future of model railroading. So I think the way it incorporates wireless into the way they're discussing incorporating wireless into the system will be a boon for everybody. So
it would help me if you defined what you were talking about.
Well, I can't let we all signed non-disclosure agreements, so I can't let too much out of the bag. I'll tell you what, you ask me the question, I'll see if I can answer it. How's that?
Wireless can mean just about anything. Wireless throttles, wireless locomotives, wireless telephones. So when we say wireless, what are we talking about? What's the overall point?
So trying to think if I can, what part of that I can discuss. Well, darn, I don't want to put myself in hock with the NMRA, so I'm going to go back and ask him. I'll tell you what I can do. I can go back and ask him to actually discuss it here on the show, and then whatever he discloses, I'm not in trouble for. So, and I think that would better define. Will better define the question. better to find an
Okay, so
I
today,
think,
if I put a receiver in a locomotive that's a wireless receiver that doesn't have to talk to the track, is that what we're talking about? I mean, that's simple.
yes.
Simple concept, okay? Because
So
I mean, there's companies
already
out there that have Bluetooth and a few of those
they
things.
already have Bluetooth in it, and they've got some specialized low frequency Bluetooth so that it travels much further distances than your standard Bluetooth, like on your Bluetooth mouse or your Bluetooth on your phone. Um, there's just some very proprietary Bluetooth systems out there that allow it to travel long distances, so you don't have to walk around and do whatever. The RF will have even greater distances and will provide as much or more control. Again,
Okay,
kind of in it's in its very infantile stages or infant stages. I don't know if I should say infantile, infant stages.
when do you think, based on what you know,
Mhm.
are we talking about a year, 5 years? What kind of a time frame do you think realistically this kind of new system may come about?
Well, knowing this guy, he'll want to move as fast as he possibly can to bring it to market.
Right,
So I'm going to say a couple of years, but you know, I have no way of specifically knowing the timelines.
gotcha. Okay. Let me ask you this.
Chief,
Go ahead.
Chief, I got a question for you.
All right.
Where did Dead Rail fall into this?
You know, the if the Bluetooth packages can, handle the dead rail, I don't see why the RF packages wouldn't be able to. So long as it can power the receiver and it can power the motor, then you're good to go. The
I
back,
mean,
oh,
we
yeah,
have battery operation right now,
right.
which certainly eliminates 100% of the wiring to the track,
Mhm.
which operates fine with the systems that we have. All we need to do is to get standards so that we can then interchange the transmitters and the receivers.
Dead rail, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we need to go.
We have a couple of team members that's what they do. They're working on dead rail, but I couldn't give you the specifics of what his team is doing right now at the moment, only because I don't know. So I know that they've been working on something for years as far as standards for dead rail layouts or dead rail engines and locomotives. But it hasn't moved real fast. So it's probably something I need to go and prod them a little harder. I've got 80 to 85 people on my team, and they're all dispersed between mechanical and electrical and DCC and conformance and inspection. And so some of them work hard and they don't slow down for a minute. And the other ones you got to go poke and prod and say, hey, where are you on with these things? One of the things that we're doing right now is we're completely rewriting not completely rewriting, but completely reviewing all of the standards for the standards of conformance, all the standards, RPs, technical notes, etc. And as we come across different things, like we talked about traction the last time, as we come across different things, if we realize we don't have expertise in that area, then we go find somebody with expertise in that area and then give them a position on the team and have them start up. And one of the traction guys that Jim recommended, he's already been introduced to the team, or at least to my deputy manager, who's trying to get him, get him all filled in and paperwork, etc. So that we get him started on traction. So I don't think there's a lot of dead rail guys on our team. So it might be one of those things. It's another niche thing that we need some expertise, somebody to oversee it and look at what we do have, and then fine tune it and help us develop those standards for that.
Steve, that might be right down your alley.
I'm not a member of the NMRA though.
Thank you for asking that though, Steve.
Well, it's we'd be glad to have you on the team, or glad to have you as an advisor to the team if that's what it takes.
I mean, there's been a lot of commercial businesses out there that are into dead rail.
Mhm.
The battery, I mean, I would contact one of them. I mean, I know how to use it.
So here's the thing. So let's say I contact ESU because I'm interested in their 24-pin connector. They're the only ones that are they have built any decoders for it. They're the only ones providing decoders for it at the moment. So I go to ESU and say, hey, I'm interested, help me develop a standard for it. What do you think ESU is going to do? So ESU is going to say, oh, well, here's what we've already written up. This is what we've got going. This should be your standard for everybody. And then I get Soundtracks that walks in and says, well, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I want to use these pins for these other things. I don't want that to be the standard. So that's why we have a separate team of engineers, electrical technicians, computer technicians, computer engineers, etc., that sit down and review these things and help create the standards based on the input from all of the manufacturers. So I can't just go to one manufacturer and say, hey, help me develop a standard for this.
Yep.
Well, I know when when DCC came around, there was a lot of resistance with the CTC units that were already out there. And they eliminated some pretty good operations. And then they went into, but that took a few years to get that. Now, with everything DCC, it's hard to go in any other direction because all the investment money is in DCC. That's the way I see it. That they're really not interested in anything new.
I would not argue that point too much with you, because everybody wants to have their DCC do the next higher, better thing. They want all the ditch lights and flashing ditch lights and moving fans, and they want the DCC to control all that. But admittedly, DCC it's finite. It's not, it can't do everything. So that's why you have things like LCC that are starting to make a resurgence for layout command and control, and the Open LCB guys are stepping up and creating some new things. Was it TCS? I think it's TCS has built in some LCC items, or some layout command and control into its throttles. So there is an interest by manufacturers to do something a little bit different, so long as they can see the vision for it. And they are, some of them are moving that direction where it's like, okay, well, it'll do DCC, but it also does, LCC. And you can do both and run engines and run your layout, etc., from the same command station.
Steve, this is Andy, it's Clark Cooning.
Hey, Clark.
Knowing a lot of the guys who work on your team and in the LLC stuff, these guys are not, a lot of them are not hobbyists. These guys are professional, way up in the electronic engineers. These are basement guys that are trying to figure out, how to modify things. These guys are super computer guys and young guys, and I think you're well, I know most of the guys on the team, maybe some of the newer guys I may not, but these guys are unbelievable. And even when they were developing LLC and even DCC to a certain point, it takes a little time. And now that people are used to the DCC and wanting more, I think you're going to see things move a lot faster than what you think. Not so much what you think, but what others may say. Oh, it's going to take years. If there is a commercial component to this, manufacturers will jump in and move things along. We saw that in DCC, and
Right.
especially now with it being a proven commodity in model railroading, you're going to see other stuff come along.
Yeah, and you're correct, Clark. Along with that, next week, maybe 2 weeks, the 19th, I'm trying to set up a meeting with all the LCC folks. Now, of course, you got Gordy and he'll want to be part of it. He's over in Scotland, and then the LCC folks are out of Alex Shepard is out of New Zealand, and then you've got the rest of my team that's scattered across the US, and they're way smarter than me, but hyper intelligent engineers, electronic engineers, and they all want to get together on the 19th and in the next few weeks and talk about the future of LCC and what it can do. And some of the new stuff they're writing right now and what the NMRA to consider adopting is LCC programming that will do more than just the layout. So
Yeah, I spent some time with a couple of the guys this winter, and I think the new stuff that's on the horizon, it's going to be unbelievable.
And a lot of times, if you guys go to one of our NMRA conventions, the LCC guys, they set up and they demonstrate everything that LCC can do. So some of it's kind of amazing. I'm not going to pretend to know everything about LCC because I have electrical engineers that do that for me. But it's expanding and growing, and it's the whole premise behind it is to take the load off of DCC so that you can run your layout the same way you would run your engines, right from your throttle.
Well, does anybody have any more questions for Andy?
I've got a question. With the LCC now, is that going to, my understanding is it controls the accessories that are around the model layout besides just the operating engines.
Right.
Okay. I tried a few years ago, since the Invisitrax is an animated system that's going to be around a track. I tried a few years ago to look at the LCC standards to find out what I needed to do to make sure those accessories are compatible, and I got nowhere. Now, is the new LCC, is there a specific group that's dedicated to the folks who are doing accessories versus just the engines?
Well, the LCC, I mean, they're mostly focused on the accessories, the stuff around the layout.
Right, lights and switches.
Lights and buildings and animations and that sort of thing. There are some among them that would that are trying to evolve the standards so it could actually do the locomotives and along your layout too. So if you haven't gone there, I want to say it's not on our site. We adopted after we've had some discussions with them, and they've decided on a standard. Then we review that standard, then come back and discuss it with them and then adopt it. But let me see if I can find this for you real quick.